face. Hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome to get my goodies set up. Day 13 for Larimar. A beautiful stone today. On this beautiful day, so this is going to be kept for future recordings. So for those of you who are watching in the future now, the chances of you falling on this specific day are pretty rare, but today is celebrated by many as Christmas Eve. And rightfully so, we are brought the stone of serenity. It's another serenity stone called Larimar, which also, by the way, this color resonates with none other than Mother Mary. This would definitely be her night. She's going to be a little busy tonight. So this is definitely tuning in to the beautiful energy of Mother Mary, this deep blue, serene, and representation, and tuning into the divine feminine. So this is a really special day today as we tune into the divine feminine. Not always referring to the female body. This is the receptive aspect of ourselves, a part of ourselves that is able to receive with grace. And also, when we say divine feminine, there's this beautiful grace that comes with this. So it makes sense why this stone, this color, this day is all about Mother Mary. So we're going to get to sit with her energy this morning. Obviously, we're doing it at a different time today for those of you who are in real time or now time, whatever you want to call it, in 2020. So we trying to give a few more minutes for people to come in because this is a different time. We are going to do the same time tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be at 11 o'clock for those of you who have family gatherings scheduled and dinners going. You can still get to experience this live. So just waiting for some more people to come in. Wondering how it went for you all last night. We had a great night's sleep. Some of these meditations that are coming through are just really beautiful. So they allow me to really knock out. Yeah, so and it's an interesting day outside today, kind of gloomy, and makes you want to just cozy up and get comfy. So I'm glad I'm here with you all a little bit earlier today. Let's see, let me check my numbers here real quickly. I think we got everything else up. I didn't check. It says YouTube's up, but I always like to check. And I did mention, if you are on Facebook, feel free to go ahead and go to streamyard.com/Facebook. And if you just quickly enter your information there, actually, you don't even have to enter your information. You just have to, while you're in Facebook, authorize me to see your comments. I am not sitting in Facebook right now. I'm on another platform that allows me to hit a couple of platforms at one time. So the other ones integrate a little bit easier. Facebook just needs you to do a little authorization there for me to see it. I would love to see your comments. And for those of you who are on Instagram, I do have some pictures I'll be showing. There's some websites and stuff that I have plastered up on the video through YouTube and Facebook. So if you would like, you're welcome to go over to YouTube or Facebook, or if you want to watch the replay and see some of this information, YouTube's probably the best way to see it because it downloads the information right there. On Instagram and Facebook, I kind of have to do some finagling to put it all on my Life's Remission pages. So right now, everything's nice and neatly put together on YouTube, and all my links are above my bio. So just getting that housekeeping out of the way as we're waiting for some people to roll on in. Some people are just waking up. Some people are starting their day. Some people are prepping for the celebration of today and tomorrow. Some people are celebrating a beautiful day of their life regardless, right? So we're just all kind of tuning in. All right, I think we can get started here. All right, well, I am Lisa Sadowski. For those of you who don't know, I am the founder of Life's Remission, which I basically assist women in remission to get past their fear of recurrence and live the life of unshakable inner peace and freedom from fear. If cancer has not been your experience, the concept of fear of recurrence probably exists as well. So recurring old habits, things that have kept us from moving forward, fears that have stopped us from actually moving our fullest expression of life. So that is what I do. I always say I'm a preacher of sovereignty. I'm here to remind you and to tap into the sovereign being that you are, to take accountability for your own spiritual expansion, and to live the life that you were meant to live to its fullest potential. And the first mission, yes, I am a cancer thriver. I did have quite the experience when I was a child. I went through quite a few years of chemo and radiation in this body, about 7 or so, to get through it. So growing older in my life, it's just been this constant unfolding of what that all meant to me in my life, and getting past any fears that came into my way for different traumas or dramas that happened. And so the first mission is always to survive. When we're in a situation of trauma and in a situation of just deep, deep fear, we don't know what to do. We go into survival mode. So the first mission is to survive. The re-mission, which is why we got the life's re-mission, is to thrive. So the first mission was to survive. The re-mission is to thrive. So I'm here to assist you with your life's re-mission. And crystals have been a way that I have done that along the way. They've really, really assisted me in a lot of the healing of just reminding me of what is within me, and tapping into that on a regular basis. So I was given a message, if you will, from Spirit to do this 21 days of crystal heartenings. And these crystal heartenings, the reason they use that word was because it is literally a heart opening. So each one of these crystals are assisting us to tap into that heart space and to function from that space. We're literally doing a version of an entrainment to work from here in everything that we do. And so that this is, again, to assist with life's remission, to get into that fully expressed life. So I listened and I abided, and I won't say that there wasn't some resistance there. It's like 21 days through Christmas and New Year's Eve and all the holidays in between. And but yes, I'm here, and I'm so glad I did. I can't believe I considered not coming through with this. So glad you all are here today. I mentioned earlier, for those who are just jumping in, today is a stone of Larimar. This beautiful stone. Let me put up the picture that I had. I thought I had it open. Actually, we put one. We'll do this one, so you can see it in raw and let's see if we can get here. Raw and polished form. Such a beautiful stone, you guys. It's such a feeling of serenity just to even hold it. Get a little bit bigger so you can get that. It's so pretty. So the one that Buddha is holding, I think it's this one. You could see the beautiful colors in it. It does actually have the oceanic representation, but it is actually a water and fire element. We've been touching base on the different elements of the different earth elements that are reflected in each of these crystals. Obviously, all of these crystals are from the earth, but each of them emanates a different energetic pattern based on how they were created, where they came from. And so those elements are earth, wind, fire, not the band, earth, wind, fire, and wind. And then we have what we call spirit energy, which is the kind of the overreaching ultimate balancer that comes in. So some stones actually resonate with spirit, which is a balance of all the elements. So today, though, what's amazing about the stone, if you've turned into it already, if you have felt with it already, I'm wearing some as well. It's a very sweet, again, serene, even the color, it just kind of draws you into it. But what's interesting is it was created through fire. So it actually carries the water and the fire element from it in it. The fire being that it forms in basaltic lava, in like the crevices of basaltic lava. So this is what's amazing about this stone is it has the access, and I get a little centered here. It has the capacity to tap you into this beautiful serenity, yet keeping you, bringing forth a strength and an energy of strength, basically, but strength with grace. So as I mentioned before, today we're celebrating, it makes sense that it came today. So let me kind of talk about that. I mentioned that these 21 days came through, the crystals came through in a certain order. I was given the list right after I was given the 21 days of crystal heartenings. The crystals came through as to which ones wanted to be part of it. And when I started trying to move them around and what order to do it, I was specifically instructed that that was the order that they were to be done in. And I'm just astounded every single day as to how these all line up. I'm not adding these every day. I did not put them in a certain order. They just fell this way. So it's really beautiful to me that the Larimar comes through with this representation of the divine feminine. And on the day that we can, which is correlated, also this color with Mother Mary. So it's just all so divinely led, you guys. It's so beautiful. So we're tuning in to this aspect of the divine feminine. Even the word feminine we talk about sometimes can be perceived as weak or something not as strong as the masculine energy. All that it is actually the way that it is expressed. But be not confused that the divine feminine is no joke. And actually, though, the difference is that the divine feminine has a specific grace that it delivers. And in that grace is an immense amount of strength. And the strength is not by pushing forward. It's actually just by standing and beingness, right? That is the ultimate of what we are here to do, as to why we came onto this earth, is to be that representation, just to be in the beingness of who we are. So it makes sense in all that's going on in 2020. We're having situations where we're kind of in our homes and not able to gather in large gatherings like we typically do. This is all kind of coming to allow us to tap in to what it is within us, to tap into our own inner strength and see what it is on this night. Usually at midnight, people get together and they exchange, or I don't say usually, but certain people who celebrate this holiday. And for those who don't, you can still tap into the energetic expression. There's a momentum that happens on days like this, and you don't need to tap into the dogmatic aspects of it, but you can tap into the emotional undertones. And again, this is what we are doing moving forward. We are focusing from our hearts. And so the great thing about when the collective, a majority of the collective, is engaging in a certain energetic exchange, especially when it's so positive, whether you believe these teachings or not, there is still an undertone, an emotional undertone that you have, like in an ocean, that you have access to dip into. So I'd ask those who are not celebrating this or don't resonate with some of this to just tap into the energetic feeling of this, and don't worry about the dogmatic aspects of it, but more to how we can entrain, or how we can interweave this information into our bodies of peace, of love, of divine feminine, of receptivity. And we're not saying we just take anything that's under the sun. Divine feminine is a connection to divine, to be clear with what we are here to receive, what we are here to do, and allow that to come in and allow it to fully integrate and embody that. So we're really going to step into the beauty of divine feminine today. I'm so excited. So like I mentioned, it is a water and fire element. This is a rare combination, and more so, this is one of the stones, I would say one of the only stones that I really have worked with that is so deeply balanced with these two. Imagine water and fire trying to put those two together. And just by the basaltic lava in itself, right, melting or falling into the water. I should have brought that picture that I have. The fire, the lava, hot lava going into water and turning into solid. Water actually turns it back to solid. And then when you go back to fire, fire turns it back into liquid, right? So there's a balance, that an ebb and a flow, even within these two opposite, seemingly opposite elements. And so there's no conflict between these two. There's an actual beautiful flow. And so that's got, again, tapping into the power that divine feminine actually has also an aspect of a fire flame within it of transmutation. So yesterday we had a really powerful stone of transmutation, the amethyst. And amethyst is working with the violet flame, more of a kind of, I don't want to say aggressive, but more of a direct transmutation. This is very transmuting by nature, again, because we're working with the fire and the water energies, but there's a deeper grace with this stone that allows that to do that. So so let's get into what is in here. It obviously works with the throat chakra. Color wise, it represents the throat chakra. And like I said, it's in the cavities. It's formed in the cavities of basaltic lava. I mean, just think about that. Like the extreme of water and lava. It's only found in the island of Hispaniola in the Caribbean. So it's a very specific stone. Available to get, but the higher quality ones are difficult to find in bigger pieces. And there's actually, you can see some of it there, I think in the raw form, that it has. I don't have the raw one because it's not mine, it's my girlfriend's. A very good soul sister friend of mine who is, let's see, you can see a little bit of the inclusions in here, some of the red, right? Is hematite in this one. I can't tell from that. It looks like there's some lava in the other picture of the raw. But this one is definitely hematite, and so you can see some red and brown inclusions in there as well. So that's kind of giving you more of a balance. The hematite is more of a grounding aspect. So there's a little bit of a kind of grounding element to it too. It works well with a lot of the other similar colored stones, but you'll find as we go through these, that's the case. So aquamarine, ahawite, turquoise, Andean blue opal, aqua lemuria, chrysocolla, and Lemurian seeds crystals, which any Lemurian stone in particular, for those of you who follow that history, this would definitely tune you into the Lemurian timelines and some of the wisdom specifically from that realm. So it's definitely something for you to tap into. It's known as the dolphin stone as well. Again, that water element, right? Resonating with the cetaceans. But it is actually an earth healing stone. So imagine this beautiful color coming from something inside of after lava has come through, right? And kind of finding ways into the lava, and it's this cooling energy, and this beautiful stone is created. So it's literally an earth healing stone and assisting in raising the vibration of the earth by creating this beautiful stone. So it's basically talking about balance, healing, and nurturing energy. So self-care, self-love. This is definitely going to remind us of that within us. It's highly effective for the throat, like I mentioned, the throat energy center. And the way that it does it is it assists in communicating truth, which we're always talking about. Let me speak my truth and let me get my truth out. However, the other aspect of it is that not that we're concerned with what people think. However, when we are exerting energy to communicate what we're trying to communicate, it's beneficial if we can communicate it in a way that it is able to be received and transmuted, or even just integrated at a certain extent. So Larimar actually assists us while we're communicating with that deepest truth the first part of it is assisting us to tap into the real truth. Many times we're communicating our truth that really isn't the truth of who we are. It's maybe an egoic aspect of ourselves that we kind of let communicate for us, right? So Larimar taps in, first of all, to the truth that you really are, and then allows that truth to be communicated at a level of emotions, emotional expression, or setting boundaries. It comes from such a centered place that the communication of it actually comes through, and others can actually hear it and accept it. So instead of a lot of, especially right now, there's a lot of opinions going on around, right? And when we deliver our opinion with no tapping into that higher aspect of ourselves, sometimes that opinion isn't even received, which is fine. We're here to express our individual truth. However, when we exert so much energy and we attach ourselves to the fact that someone else actually receives it or that they actually do something with it, we can be exerting a lot of energy, wasting away, and it's not actually serving the purpose. So this really assists with getting that message through in a way that others can hear and accept it even. So it's a really beautiful portal for that. It brings serenity to an environment. So if you have a piece of Larimar somewhere, it automatically brings this beautiful divine, serenity to the environment. And it, again, this is a direct connection to the divine feminine. As I mentioned before, we're talking about on this day that this is this timeline right now, where Mother Mary, this is the Mother Mary energy of and the fullest expression of the divine feminine by some teachings, by some people that follow this. It's just really beautiful and divine that it is today that this stone comes through. So I had asked at the beginning that we just kind of tune into the energy of Mother Mary, whether that is something that you believe in, that anything about any of that, just know that there's an emotional undertone there that we can all really tap into today. And so actually, speaking of which, it assists with angelic contact, right? So tapping into communication with other realms, all that kind of stuff. So again, this is a reminder of that which exists within us. I cannot say this enough. I apologize for those of you who have been with me for these now 13 days, but it is really important to understand that these crystals are simply a reminder of that is with its, can't even get it out, that with which is within us. Say that 20 times. And so just like the earth is evolving in a living being, it reflects a very direct parallel to our lives and our physical bodies. The physical earth is a direct reflection in many ways of the collective consciousness and what we're actually contributing and where we are with our evolution. And so when we talk about getting into this centered place, communicating with these other realms, we're talking about raising the vibration of the entirety of the whole at a cosmic level. And so, yes, it affects the earth and it affects us, but these crystals are the literal reminders of that which is within us. So we are not here to worship these or consider these as things that are going to heal us overnight. They are simply mechanisms to assist us to tap into our own healing capacities that we have within ourselves, guided by source, God, spirit, whatever it is that you call it. But this is the direct connection with them. And we have plenty of evidence from a scientific standpoint of how these are literal historical information. They're libraries of wisdom, libraries of light that are deeply connected. And so the message resounds, whether you have a little tiny piece like this, or you have a big, huge, gigantic geode, or whether you're just watching this, because the intention was set for the blueprint, the emotional undertone of each of these stones to be transmitted out through for those who wanted to receive them. So if you cannot get one of these stones, no problem. You can tune into the energy when we go into the meditation as well. You can ask to attune to that energy and kind of allow that to integrate into the body. So again, they're simply reminders. Please don't get caught up in, I need to have that crystal, or I need to go buy it, or, it's nothing like that. This is an energetic template that we can tap into, and that many of the ascended masters have done so in order to impart wisdom through and in these stones. Like I mentioned, you know, Moses even inscribing into stone. The caves, when we've had, you know, our ancestors have actually left beautiful spiritual messages for us in the days in the ancient Egypt, even throughout, that they were beautiful inscriptions. They even inscribed in actual crystals. Yesterday, I spoke about the story of amethyst and some of the actual inscriptions that were done by some of the leaders of Israel were actually inscribing things in amethyst. And this was all divinely led. All of this information was divinely led. So this is what we're tapping into right now. And this is an energetic exchange of wisdom that can be done whether you're holding the crystal or not. And at some point, I may be able to tell you a beautiful story about literally how that works, because I had my own experience myself with that. Okay, so we've got, it helps with, Larimar helps with relaxation, releases the ego, relieves stress. For those who resonate with the concept of Kundalini energy, it definitely calms a Kundalini experience. If it's a little bit of excess Kundalini energy that's happening, this is really good with calming that experience down. I mentioned I'm a singer-songwriter, so it is great for the voice, for singers. And it actually, though, not only is physically with the throat, but it actually assists in unleashing the voice of your deepest wisdom. So again, we're tapping into where we want to be all the time, that centered, connected source that is running through us and allowing it to communicate through us. So that's where it's really good for those singers, speakers, anyone who are actually speaking, to tap into the beautiful energy of that powerful wisdom. It also enhances and protects the voice as well. Again, calming again, but it's calming like excess of fear, anger. Basically, again, think about that fire energy, right? When you're just angry or frustrated or even just feeling tense. That's more of kind of like the fire energy inside of us. So again, this stone has the balance of fire and water. So when we're in that state, this stone, because it is in tune with the fire energy, there's that understanding of what's there. And let me actually speak about that too. I've had, the deeper you go with these stones, the more elaborate experiences you can have. So I've actually had moments that when I really started tuning into these crystals, I had Larimar for a while, these little pieces. And I would kind of carry them around. I even wrapped them and wore a little piece every now and then. But when I got this necklace with these earrings, they were, it's a lot. It's a bigger amount of Larimar at once. And I remember the first time I put it on, I literally had like that fire energy that I was feeling. I couldn't keep it on for too long. And what that was, again, this is when we're really deep tapping into it. For those that aren't even aware of it, probably won't have this experience unless there is a specific message that spirit wants to get through, and it'll use it to do it. But just kind of show it so you can see it. I was wearing it, and I had to take it off, and I just felt like I couldn't breathe. It was not to scare any of you, but I really had this just really crazy experience with it. And I was kind of new to the concept of this deep inner, connection with these crystals. So I take it off, and I realized that there was a truth that was trying to come through. There was a me needing to get centered. And I realized that before I would put it on, knowing how I responded, it was all around my throat area, that I would feel this kind of, not a tension, but I guess tension was the best way to explain it, but it definitely felt fiery. So when I'm talking about that fiery aspect, understand that the goal of these stones, while they come in balance, they can feel, you can have some resistance to them. And it's not the stones. I had a perfect example of this actually with amethyst. I was in a big convention that had this guy had just huge amounts of crystals. And I walked in front of them and I was getting lightheaded, and I didn't understand it. And then I'd walk away from the booth and I'd be fine. And I'd come back to the booth. And I mean, it took me a couple of times where I literally almost felt like I was going to knock over. And then I finally figured out that it was the crystals that were affecting me. And I asked the guy, I was like, I said, well, like, how can you stand among these? Don't you feel something? And he just laughed. He goes, yeah, welcome to your initiation. He's like, you're tapping into them. And when that happens, they come to you when you are ready for these messages, by the way. Okay. So this is when you are willing to seek this level of depth with this. That when they come to you, or they're in your presence, they are the literal reminder of the perfection that you are. So when you come forward with your ego, you come forward with an aspect of yourself that wants to be healed, and you stand in front of something that is so perfect and a representation of such beauty, such natural perfection. It could feel a little bit off, but it's only because it's its way of communicating. That's the way of communicating that, hey, I'm just standing here as a mirror of the perfection that you are, and the reminder that this is who you are. Imagine looking at a picture of yourself. We always talk about our younger days when the wrinkles weren't so great or something like that, right? Imagine a picture, a perfect image of yourself being shown in your face every time you look at the mirror. And you're going, but that's not what I look like right now. And the mirror says, but it is you. This is you. This is what these crystals are. These crystals are standing before us as a direct representation, and only as much as you want to see will be revealed. And if you want to tap into, and they come with this beautiful message of, if you'd like to tap into that perfection, if you'd like to tap into this is here. But if you refuse to tap into it and you step into my presence, know that I will not compromise the perfection that you are. I will not compromise my perfection. This is the crystal speaking. Like, I will not compromise the perfection that I am as a crystal. It can't do that. All it can do is be the perfection that it is. So this is where these can really, again, if you dive deeper and deeper into some of these, and you have some seemingly resistant feelings, 9 times out of 10, those are usually the stones you need to work with. I'm not saying you go and you lay with them all the time if you're having physical responses, but just know that, okay, I need to kind of go check in with that one every now and then and see what the lesson is and tune in. Okay. So, again, so I said it calms excessive fear, excessive fire energy, and it's beneficial for caretakers and healers, because we have sometimes the capacity as healers and caretakers to not care for ourselves. And the thing is in order to be there for someone else, in order to deliver and follow through with that which we are here to be, it is important that we are complete and whole and tapping into that aspect of ourselves. So this really assists with self-love and respect, so that for self-love and self-respect, so that we can be there for others in our fullest form and really deliver. If you really want to be an excellent servant, make sure you are full when you step to the room. Make sure you are connected with that wholeness that you are when you show up to that room. And be amazed by the powers that you have that you may not have known. You had the stamina, the level of energy that you have. From a physical standpoint, obviously, you could see how it would assist with inflammation, any infections, like a fever. Again, calming that fire energy, muscle tension, spasms, hives, like rashes, eczema, psoriasis. Things are inflamed. It's really good to come through and assist to calm that energy down. And it's really good at a physical level for mothers, again, tapping into this divine mother energy, right? Before, during, and after pregnancy, it assists with postpartum depression and high blood pressure. And I keep referring to the divine feminine. Let me be very clear, this at a sex level, this aligns with both those who resonate with the male or the female, or don't resonate with either one of those titles, that this is just assisting with connection to the divine feminine, that which is receptive within us. So that's not just women here that need that. It is a balance. and even men or those who are physically associated with that title need to have that balance of divine feminine in there. So this is really a beautiful aid for that. In that, it also facilitates expression of emotional energy. So if you're heavy in your divine masculine, you may be having some issues with getting some of that emotional expression. And again, when we're talking about communication, understand that moving forward, as we evolve and as a species, as a collective energy, understand that it's a minimum requirement to be connecting through the heart. So, which are emotions, right? Connecting through emotions. And so if we choose to cut that part of ourselves out and not communicate from that emotional standpoint, we're missing a lot of lessons, number one, and it's going to be an interesting ride for you moving to number two, moving forward. This is really, really important to tap into the heart, because you will start seeing manifestations at a physical level if we are not going deeper into the heart, because this is information that can only be expressed through it. And when we carry that energy that needs to come through, and that's the only way it can come through. If you're not allowing it to flow, it will manifest in other ways in the physical body. So this is where it's really, really important to tap into the emotional aspect of ourselves. So this helps to facilitate the expression of emotional energy. It assists with our intuitive nature, again, that divine feminine aspect, the intuitive nature, and the concept of receptivity. So, it would also obviously assist with panic attacks, stress, or like I said, excessive anger or fear. So I mentioned some of the stones that it works well with. For the smoother side, remember I said there's like the water energy and the fire energy with this, right? For a more water-like experience, some of the tektites, well, I would say more of like a higher vibrational standpoint, I'll say. Some of the tektites, moldavite, which moldavite can be a relatively, for those of you who are not familiar with it, it's okay, but it is a tektite. It is a form of coming from an asteroid or something falls from space and hits the ground. It creates a new element, if you will, a new thing. Can't even talk today. But sometimes those energies, the tektites and the moldavites, can be a little bit stringent, a little bit harsh feeling. So Larimar actually assists with smoothing that out, but still delivering that really high vibration that come through these tektites. Larimar just kind of smooths that experience down. And for those are kind of a little bit more as well with the darker color, the darker color crystals, or even the red tones, which are usually more in the grounding, right? Cuprite, ruby, and zincite. It assists again with getting the upliftment, like the energetic kick, without having such a harsh fire component to it. So it's a beautiful balancer, as was Mother Mary. So that's, again, it's just a beautiful experience to tap into her energy today. I'm so grateful that she is definitely present with us. I mentioned that I have mentioned before that when I put these together and when I bring the crystals in and tap into this energy, there's a purity of intention, right? To tap into the highest realms and bring this wisdom in and allow it to, for whatever it is that you are called to learn, whatever it is that your spirit is ready to receive, for that to come through. And when this depth of intention is set, automatically we have the avatars, the highest vibrational and frequency beings come forth at attention, ready to assist us. And typically they are announced. I like to, I feel them come in, and so I say who they are. And through this experience, for the most part, they've just said, like, don't announce us, just kind of like push forward the crystals, let them be the show. And what it is that each of the avatars have, well, these crystals were here before these avatars before human flesh was created. So any of the avatars that came in human form these crystals were here before them, and so wisdom was set forth. And these avatars actually used them as well. They would wear them. They would have them, use them as royalty, in signs of royalty as well, but also imparting wisdom into them as well. So I think the message is that, again, we have fallen into a pattern of looking to something outside of ourselves to come save us, looking at something outside of ourselves or perceived to be outside of ourselves as coming to our rescue. And when we do that, it's a disempowering experience, and that we forget it's a program that assists in assisting us to forget the sovereignty that we are, not from an egoic standpoint where we believe we can conquer the world, when in all honesty, there's some powers that we have that we're not even aware of. Not from that perspective, though, not from an egoic standpoint. We're talking about a depth of understanding of your strength, because you need to feel this sense of empowerment in order to take accountability for all of your belief systems. Everything that you believe, everything that you say you follow, that you religiously, are running after. Make sure that that is so integrated into your beingness. Make sure that it is your truth. And when we are following other avatars or what, and by the way, when I say avatars, ascended beings, when we're tapping into that template, tap into that energetic print of that template. Jesus, many of the teachers, the Buddhas, etc. When we're tapping into that belief system, and we've followed it for so much of our lives, check into the energetic blueprint of what you really know within your heart, again, to be true. And then remember that the teachings that have been coming through books that have been interpreted by many different languages, by the way, and lost in interpretation, some of these messages have been, it can get very confusing to decipher, especially when we have some of life's toughest decisions. What is good? What is bad? What should I follow? Is this in alignment? And then we start having opinions about someone else who doesn't believe the way that we do. The most important thing to do is to tune into the emotional undertone of what that avatar represents, and what is the Christ consciousness, if you want to look at it that way, right? What is the highest vibrational expression that I can be in this moment? And suddenly the dogmatic aspects of each of these teachings suddenly kind of come together in a different way, and you're able to see the truth behind it, and get rid of I don't know anyone that can say that there haven't been politics involved with many of organized and unorganized religions, right? Many attempts to manipulate. It's because the human nature has still been intertwined with these divine teachings. And what we have done is we've tried to kind of like put everything together into a box and say, if you don't believe it this way, then you're wrong. And if you don't believe it this way, then you're wrong. When we literally were created as individualized expressions of source. Let me say that again. You are here to be the individualized expression of source, God, whatever you believe that name to be, universe. And so if we are here to be an individualized expression, and we're trying to create one box for everybody to fit into, you can see where there's going to be some conflict. You can see where that's not going to work. And it's served us to get us to where we are today. Let me be clear that the processes that we did and the things that were existing before to take us to where we are today, there is a purpose, a divine purpose to all of that. And now we can step in and say, okay, I'm grateful for that foundational understanding. I'm grateful for some sort of a reference point as to what faith is, what true connection to spirit is. Now, how can I take that and be accountable for moving forward? What can I do to be more of that individualized expression? And I gave the example yesterday of, us kind of like locking arms. We've been, in this field of unity. And maybe in our minds, we have this impression that we should be holding on to each other as we do this walk together. The problem is that eventually when we try to expand, right, there's nowhere else to go, and we can't be locked arms and still expand. We have to let go and go on our own trajectory. That doesn't mean we're alone, that doesn't mean that nobody gets us. That just means we are expanding the field. We're literally kind of expanding this concept of human consciousness so far out that we can still stay connected at a heart level when we communicate with from the heart, but I don't need to physically be in your presence in order to know that I love you, in order for you to know that, or for me to know that you love me, right? And so this is what we are doing right now. We are going to the next level of expansion where we unlatch our connections to sometimes what seem like physically each other. Again, we don't leave each other. I'm not talking about abandoning each other. I'm talking from an energetic standpoint. When we have this ownership, like we own our siblings, I mean, it's my mother, that's my father, that's my brother, that's my sister. We are all connected. We are all brothers and sisters, one field of unity. And maybe it's not being expressed properly right now. As we know, true brotherhood and sisterhood may not be physically manifested now, but we have to energetically get ahead of that and understand that, yes, let's just assume we are connected. Understanding that there's still work to be done in this timeline right now so that we will not lose focus of that at all. But let's also tune into the fact that we are here to expand our consciousness. And if the things in front of us are not seeming to match that, then let's set the emotional undertone for that to be what we want our reality to be. Hopefully this is making sense, because this is really, really powerful if we can grab onto this consciousness at a collective level, okay? We are the creators of our own reality. And so if instead of focusing on, and I'm not saying we do not discuss, I'm not saying we don't talk about or look at the things that are not reflective of this perfect experience. However, more time could be afforded to invest in imagining that perfect truth, that perfect out picturing of that perfect truth. And so if we invest our energy in this understanding that we are going to be we're expanding this field, and we may not be holding each other left or right, and we shouldn't be. The training wheels are coming off, y'all. The training wheels are off. You are on your own. And many of you who have insecurities about being abandoned, that's not going to feel good. But I'm telling you this because I know that you have a sovereign aspect of yourself that is here, has always been with you. Whether I know you or not, you have a sovereignty within yourself that is screaming to come through right now. And when we are so concerned with somebody coming to my rescue, somebody help me, I can't do this myself, we miss out on the actual opportunity of being that full expression, that fully sovereign being. And it's not the time anymore to be wallowing in that feeling of loneliness. Instead, to be tapping into the joy of how much more you have to express. There's no time for loneliness when you're tuned into that place. There's no time of to feel abandoned when we are focused in spirit, when we're connected at that level. So if we, instead of spending a lot of our energy on how can somebody help me, or I can't do this, or I can't, at least get the imaginative aspect of our brains to tap into a beautiful stone like this. Again, you don't have to physically have it. I've given you pictures here. It'll be online on YouTube for you to just tune into this anytime you want to. You come back to day 13 and you tap into the beautiful energy of Larimar. We're going to do a gorgeous meditation right now. And just let it remind you. If you have to do it, every day in a row for whoever knows how long, then do it. But make it a priority to tap into that sovereign nature of yourself that you have, that power that you already have within you. And every time you start looking to something else to fix it, just remember that. You don't even need to be in that state of sovereign experience if that's not where you're at. But if you can just remember that and be aware that, hey, I'm having some doubts right now. I think I'm feeling like I need to go to alcohol right now, or I need to go to food right now, or even in some instances, sex or whatever. I need something to make me feel. And if you can just be aware that that is happening and tap into the fact, just the reminder, like, okay, somewhere there's some sovereignty in here where I don't need any of those things. I don't need any of that stuff because I know that there's a joy within me that resounds. Maybe I can't feel it right now. Maybe I'm not getting it, but just the awareness alone will entrain the brain to start looking for that instead, looking for joy, looking for peace, looking for centeredness, looking for stillness. So please just understand that you are a sovereign being beyond all imaginings in this human body. And you are at the essence and the core of who you are. Energy, you are energy. You are powerful energy. Energy cannot be deleted. It can only be transmuted. And in this situation, we are focusing on raising our vibration and elevating the human consciousness. So if we need to just start with ourselves, we do that. Make sure we get yourself filled up, tapped into that really powerful sovereign energy, and then over to where you are overflowing. And in the overflow, that is what expresses out to those people around you in this sense of being this sovereign perfection that you are. We all have so much power, we just don't even understand. I went way too long on that, so let's okay. So the concept of, let me get to this, Crystal and Spirit had me talk about the concept of higher, deeper, and wider. Go into each of these stones and tap into what is from a higher perspective, a deeper perspective, and a wider perspective. So these terms were given to be looked at in a different way. We use the word higher. That word was higher, deeper, wider was because most people can kind of understand it, but there's also other correlations to it that we want to clear up. So Spirit's saying for the concept of higher, consider the role of release. Okay, consider that what can be released so that more may be revealed. What can be let go of so that more of my higher element aspect of myself can come through. So when we're talking about that, this is where Larimar comes in to actually tap us into that safety, that sovereignty, that feeling of connected centeredness. And we start seeing what it is that is kind of holding us down, what is holding us back. And so we find out what those things are that are to be released, right? And so that more truth can be revealed. Then we go deeper and we say, now that we've seen what needs to be released, instead of considering the word deeper, because people sometimes associate that with lower, but let's consider the word rooted. We're asking what truth is calling for deeper embodiment. So since we figured out what needs to be released, and then more may be revealed in the higher, right? Now that we have what needs to be revealed, now we ask what truth, which of those things that need to be revealed, which of those is calling for deeper embodiment? What wants to be integrated? What is it that I see there that I'm probably not practicing? What is it that I believe and I know to be true that I'm probably not incorporating into my day-to-day life? So it's asking what truth is calling, truth with a capital T is calling for deeper embodiment, right? So let's see, and then wider. So we go higher, deeper, and wider. So from a wider perspective, we're asked to consider the word inclusion. So these are actions, right? So wider kind of is a broad term of just kind of broad experience of it, right? But inclusion is asking for action. So it's saying what opening wants to occur in order to assist with my spiritual expansion and ascension. So again, we're tapping into this deep serenity, this beautiful peace experience with Larimar. It's offering us the experience to say, okay, how do I open my heart? This is literally a heart opening stone. So this Larimar comes in to open our hearts, but it says what opening wants to occur, which 9 times out of 10 is from the heart area, right? Heart experience, heart energy center. What opening wants to occur in order to assist with my spiritual expansion and ascension? So how does Larimar assist with that? Again, it's tapping us into that divine wisdom, but it's also allowing a space of serenity, a space of calm, a space of just a beautiful experience to tap into, so that we can therefore finally get to a level of expansion and eventually ascension, a spiritual ascension. So those are the 3, higher, deeper, and wider, that Larimar can help with. If you are not on YouTube or Facebook, you can go ahead after this and check in with those, and you'll see the questions, and you'll see some pictures and all that good stuff on there. All right, I think we're ready for a meditation. We had quite a few things come through right now, and I am really feeling into that energy right now. So, um, feeling into Mother Mary energy coming through, feeling into divine feminine, wanting to just hold us right now. And we're just going to get comfortable, get seated in our spaces. I'll kind of see if I'll give you guys some, they're little, but they're beautiful, the little crystals. So you guys can look at it from there. Or maybe I can do what I did yesterday. Hold on a second. Yeah, I'll do that for you. That's the picture. There you go. Kind of look at Larimar that way. All right, we're just getting comfortable and taking a deep cleansing breath. Release all that does not serve you. And another deep inhale of all that is love and joy and peace. Releasing all that is not. And one last cleansing breath. And one more release. Feeling into a deep sense of gratitude for these beautiful reminders that are in our field to tap us in to this serenity. The ebb and flow of this life experience. The balance of the water and fire energies that we have within us. And remembering that over 80% of our bodies are water. This water is doing everything in different forms, moving nutrients throughout our bodies, clearing toxins out of our bodies, moving the lymphatic system that doesn't even have a heart or a pump, but somehow finds a way to move throughout the body with this water element, this flow, this ebb and flow. And tapping into the parallel of this earth as the waters of the oceans and the rivers do the same for this earth. They move nutrients throughout the body of the earth. They do their best to remove the toxins, even though we keep throwing them into the experience of this earth. It still intuitively continues to detoxify. And imagining a beautiful brook trickling into a beautiful pond. Tapping into this beautiful energy of the serenity of this pond. And the pond, we'll go to one end of the pond and it's just crystal clear, still, completely still. We are called to that side of the pond. In the background, hearing the trickling of the brook, just ever so gently moving water in, fresh water into this pond. But where we are, it is just still and clear, reflecting back the beauty of the entirety of the environment that is around us. You can see the blue sky in the reflection, the clouds, the beautiful trees, allowing the sun to trickle through with a little bit of shade and a little bit of warmth. And we are drawn to our own reflection. At first glance, we see the imperfections. First glance, we see the things that we wish we could change. But when we get still, all of a sudden, it shifts ever so slightly. If we saw wrinkles, they don't go away. They are so beautiful. Suddenly, you're remembering all the things that brought you to where you are in this moment, this now. You realize they're exactly a perfect place. You may see images of earlier on in life when maybe the skin wasn't so wrinkled or the body wasn't so a little bit out of shape. And you also see the stressors that brought that about, or you may see the joy that was emitting from you at that time. Your perspective is widened. You can see all that came to make and bring you to where you are today. All of it seems a little bit more perfect. For from this wider, this inclusive perspective, we can see all the things that have been affected by those times in our lives. Like a rock that would be dropped into the pond, the ripple effect doesn't stop. It just stops from our perception, but the energetic movement never stops. Imagine all of the pebbles that we have thrown and we have moved. Imagine all the rocks and the boulders that we have moved in our lives, the major traumas we have overcome. Imagine the power and the energy of the wave, the wake of energy that was put out into the cosmos and just kept going. You might be led to see a little bit of how far that wake can go. You may see something beautiful that came out of some trauma that you experienced that you had no idea could have happened. But when you see it, you realize that it never would have happened if it wasn't for that trauma in your life. Look at the reflection again. Can you see your beauty? It is so magnificent. Your brilliance, your wholeness. Can you see it? If you can't, don't give up. Trust and know that it is there. It is within you. And it's just the tip of the iceberg of the power that exists within you. Don't miss this opportunity to see it, to be grateful for it. You are a divine emanation of Source, God, love, peace, joy, the true you, the real you, the real I am. Allow this beautiful reflection to impart its love, its wholeness, its completeness physically into your body. Remember that all of these things were created like a pearl, like a diamond that is polished over years of experience, pressure, friction sometimes. The beautiful stones are unveiled with the more and more life experiences that happen. Or just releasing more and more layers that have been hiding the beauty that we are. Release them all, let them go. For you are seeing through all of those layers in this reflection. All you see is you. I wouldn't be surprised if all you see is light, because that is what you are. Allow that light to get brighter and brighter until it blinds you, comes into your body, fully fills you up. And grows in the heart center of who you are. This light is just beaming straight into your heart, expanding, growing. Healing. And igniting a fire within to balance this beautiful water energy, to take action. But as we allow this divine feminine energy, this energy of receptivity of light, this fire ignites within to take actions as to the next step of your spiritual evolution, your spiritual expansion. higher mindedness. It's a beautiful combination of ebb and flow of the blue soothing energy, and the spark of the fire within. They almost create like a blue lava, moves through the entire bloodstream, moves through the system, just cleansing, purifying, and elevating everything in its wake. Allow it to go through and just purify and awaken all aspects of your human body, while tapping into your spiritual experience, the spiritual truth of who you are. As we step back into our bodies completely, remembering this ebb and flow, this beautiful reflection in the water, this ignited flame and fire that is within. Integrating it into our bodies, storing it in our heart center, and knowing that anytime we want to access it, we just tune into the heart, speak from this place, and remember the truth that is to be expressed. Mm. Settle in your bodies and this beautiful life expression that you are in this time and dimension, and wiggle your fingers, move your feet, stretch, open your eyes. Whenever you are ready. Welcome back, y'all. I hope you felt into that beautiful reflection. If you tuned out or you kind of just blissed out, that's fine too. I meant to mention that on some of these, sometimes we're kind of going so deep that you don't need to hear all the words I'm saying. Just tap into the energetic energy that is coming to you. It's still a little bit like I'm needing to get grounded right now. Thank you all for being here today. I hope you have beautiful plans to celebrate this beautiful day in whatever celebration or whatever reason comes forward for you. Tomorrow is at 11 o'clock as well, Pacific time. And then we'll go back to our 7 o'clock at night time after that. But today and tomorrow, and then actually New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, we're going to do the same thing, 11 o'clock. New Year's Day is the last one. So yeah, we made it to day 13, everybody. So glad you're here with me. And for those of you who are watching this in the future now, the replays, know that you received all of this as if you were here in the now moment. There is no time when we're dealing at this level of energetic exchange. So know that all is well. I thank you all for being with me, and I will see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock in the morning. Bye-bye.